Hello and welcome to Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, A Noob's Journey Part 2. I'm VG247's Dave Cook, and this week I've decided to show you a little bit more of the game now that I've had some more time with it. This is the guild counter in the village where you get sort of quests, and this is where like the heart of the game lies. So here you have to, sort of pay your way into quests and speak to this woman here who just doesn't shut up, as you can see. And then you get these quests here, you sort of buy into them. And each of them have different conditions, time limits, rewards, and different things you have to do. So this one here, I have to kill 5 Jaggy, which are these strange raptor creatures you might have seen in the first video. So off we go. And just for your reference, each quest can only be started once you go down a specific pier, which is this one. It took me a while to figure that out, because it's not actually marked on the map, so just to save you some trouble. Each quest starts here in the guild camp. And this is a fetch quest, so I need to find some certain things and drop them in that red crate there. Now, annoyingly, I realised halfway through this quest that your inventory only has 3 screens. Once you fill them, you have to start discarding items and swapping things out, and it gets really annoying. So, just a tip, always either sell your gear you don't need, or stash it in your house. It just makes things a lot easier. So these are the Jaggy that I'm fighting, and you can see that I've got a much stronger sword now. It looks the same, but it's basically an upgraded version of the katana I had in part 1. I've also got another sword swipe. I can sort of double up that overhead swipe there. Although I must say that the weapons, it's still really inaccurate. I think the trade-off is that it's really powerful. So it's a lot like Dark Souls. You have to be wary of the weight of each weapon, and that yellow bar is the stamina. Once you've got, each swing takes stamina, and once that bar runs down, you pretty much can't swing your sword, so you've got to be very careful what you're doing. Luckily, these guys are quite easy though. You can see I'm taking them down with a few swings each. And be sure to harvest each downed creature quickly. If you leave it too long, their corpse will disappear and you'll lose everything. One thing I found really weird, and it's something I should probably point out, is that when you do a quest like this, where you have to find perhaps a specific monster type or a specific resource, the game doesn't actually highlight them on your map. So my first thought was, each quest has a time limit, so I thought, am I going to have to wander around aimlessly looking for these things? But luckily it spawns in more of what you need. So these guys weren't here before, and as luck would have it, these are the guys that I need to do the quest, so it kind of helps you out in that regard. So I've done the quest here, and every time you finish a objective, you get a little bit of time to sort of look around and explore, just to get some extra resources. And here you can see I'm mining some ore, which is used to upgrade your weapons. As you can see as well, my inventory's full, so I'm going to have to swap some things out, live and learn. And there's the quest complete. Job done. Once you finish a quest, you can go back to town, and this goes for even when you're just going out into the world without a quest active. You can come back to this resource pile owned by the chief's son, and what you can do is you can trade in every monster you've killed for resource points. So this is like an alternative way of getting rare items without actually having to pay for them. You can see here all these different monster types that I've killed. You can actually convert those into these points that then, can then be spent on extra resources. You also get these rewards depending on how many monsters you kill. You can either take them, send them to your house, or you can sell them on the spot for extra funds. And that's really useful, considering that a lot of quests have to be bought in for. And here's the farm. This is like another really deep layer to the game. There's so many of these little things. So the farm is tended by this little cat who also won't shut up, much like the guild leader. What you can do though is you can actually grow crops rather than having to find them out in the field. You can hire cat people to tend to your crops while you're away on missions. You can cultivate things here. Like you can see, you can select a certain thing you want to cultivate. As long as you have one in your possession, you can actually plant them and make more. So here I'm going to go for herbs, which are what you use to heal. You can also choose how many cycles, like seasons, you want to do it for. And you also have to choose your fertilizer. So I'm going for good old-fashioned poo, which is very lovely. You also have to find that out in the field as well. It's quite disgusting. But there we go. That's how farming works. Very simple. My second quest involved underwater combat for the first time, and it largely plays out just like combat on ground. I thought at first, fighting underwater, you have to look after your oxygen and such, but you have a ridiculous amount of it, so it's really different. I mean, it's really hard to drown. There's also air pockets everywhere and bubbles that come out of the seabed that you can just like breathe in. So you basically, the second mission is I have to find monster guts, which you harvest from these guys. Very, very simple. They don't put up much of a fight, so you can just swing with your katana and take them down. Really simple. You can also fish as well. And another weird crafting layer is actually making bait. You can craft things like special lures that will draw in very specific types of fish. Like, it's so deep, like how far you can go with this system. But for now, I just attacked these guys and got some stuff off of them. Then I went to this area, and I crap myself because that's actually the game's final boss right there. He's just spotted me, so I quickly fled because there was no way I could tackle him. But while I was out here, that dreadful music started again, telling me that he was nearby again. So I just literally didn't know what to do. Like, do I fight him? Or then I realised this game is very, very much like Dark Souls in that regard. If you see something too big that you just cannot possibly take down, just run. Like, there's no shame in it whatsoever. So here I am like a coward sprinting away. My stamina kept on going down, so I had to take a breather and stop. And he did this little comedic little run, like he was really terrified, like he was behind him chasing him, and obviously he wasn't. So, but regardless, I had to find a different way to get down there to harvest the monster guts, so I had to sort of find another body of water that had those specific creatures in it. So I couldn't go back in that way, so I just had to find another way through, so that's what I did. And he just kept on running, like this weird little run. I'm starting to think he's a bit of a coward. So there was no way I could go in that body of water and harvest monster guts with that big beast floating around. So I took a detour through this little cave network. And then this little cove sort of caught my eye. I noticed something moving under there, so I went through and I found a village full of cats. They didn't attack me at all. So me being, quite the sadist, I just started lashing out at them with my sword just to see what would happen. And I started to feel pretty guilty about that. But they actually, as it happens, they actually dropped really good loot sometimes. And if this looks pretty horrific, don't worry, you don't actually kill the cats, you just knock them out. Still, it's pretty brutal. There's also a little vendor in here. I tried to attack him as well. I think I was kind of smarting from being defeated by that big beast earlier, so I was just taking out on everyone. But he sometimes gives you like these rare, random items, which is pretty cool. And there was one cat left, so I just finished him off as well. And sometimes when you defeat the cats, they drop these sparkling little icons, and that gives you like rare drops, and you can see them scurrying away there. So my bloodlust, satisfied, I left and started going down this path here, where I saw some black cats. These are definitely not passive. They'll actually, every time they hit you, they steal an item off you, and then they scurry off. It's really annoying. So I just kept on trying to hit them before they got a chance to hit me, and every time you defeat them, you get an item back. But if you're not quick, they can make off with like some of your rare loot. Then they started chasing me. Get away, you little shits! Oh, for goodness sake! So I finally got to a bit of water where there was loads of these creatures, and I thought, great, I'll be able to harvest the monster guts without being disturbed. But then, knowing my luck, the beast appeared again, and panic started set in. I was so desperate just to get this quest over with, even though I had something like 38 minutes left on the clock. I mean, they give you a lot of time to do these quests, but then out of nowhere these big lightning bolts started coming and hitting me and stunning me, and in my panic I kept on pressing the harvest button instead of the attack button. I was going to try and hit him back, but I panicked, and he just ran circles around me and just knocked me about like a rag doll. I think that's one thing you need to bear in mind, is that you should never rush it, because you get so much time to do some quests that if one approach doesn't work, you can take your time and sort of find another way around problems and things. But then by this point I was stunned and it was too late, and this effect lasts ages. I don't know if there's some way to perhaps reduce the chances of being stunned. I think there's a certain kind of mushroom that stops it, but there's so many different types of plant that it's hard to know what they all do. And But again, that's just part of the experimentation. It's like Dark Souls. You learn by doing, and you learn from your mistakes. So, you know, I'll never do this again. I thought, because his hit detection was kind of clumsy, I thought maybe I could hide behind this rock and use a herb like that to replenish my health. You see, he missed me as well. It's quite easy for him to miss because he's so big. But unfortunately, he smacked me from behind, and I was close to death. And you know, I was stunned again. He had all the time in the world to line up this shot, and eventually he hit me from afar and killed me. I didn't really expect what was coming next. Check this out. It's really, really, really strange. Now, isn't that just like the weirdest death scene ever? And to top it all off, I actually found out I had enough monster guts in my possession to just complete the quest anyway. I didn't have to go in there again and get killed. So, yeah, there you go. It pays to check what you've picked up. And you pick up so many things, it's hard to keep track of it all, but that's a lesson learned. But as a newcomer to the Monster Hunter series, have I actually learned anything from the experience? I'd say so, yeah. I was going in blind when I first started playing this game. I had no idea what to expect from the franchise, and I've avoided it for a long time just because, all of these games to me feel like a leap of faith. There's so much to, jump into, and so many things to learn, and so many mechanics, but like any good game, you just have to try things, and eventually you'll learn the fundamentals. You'll learn how the world works, and if anyone out there likes Dark Souls, I keep on going back to that game, but it really is the best example of the same kind of experience. Sure, this is a hardcore RPG, but it's nothing that you can't handle if you just give it a little try. And there are hundreds of quests to do, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of content in here, but each quest is broken down so superbly that you can dip in and out at your leisure. There really is no need to get bogged down in it. So like me, I would recommend just taking a punt on it. If you're on the fence, just give it a try, play the free demo. And who knows, perhaps you'll become a seasoned Monster Hunter pro just like me. Well, I wouldn't go that far. Thanks for watching.